This One's Wife. The conspiracy that William injured Kate. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. As I've explained in an earlier video, the internet's awash with conspiracy theories surrounding the fact that the Princess of Wales currently isn't being seen, although we all know this is because she's convalescing from an operation. This has resulted in certain individuals speculating that there's something else going on, and this has led to a variety of conspiracy theories, one of which has been brought to my attention, posted by somebody called Unhappy Violinist on a subreddit. This individual states as follows: "This is my theory on Kate Middleton going missing. 1. William is abusive, and Kate is most likely a victim of domestic violence. You can see an example of his behaviour in an extract from Harry's book. He verbally abuses his brother, becomes violent, and then asks his brother to hurt him once he realises how far he's gone." Now, of course, that's just assuming that Harry was correct in that recollection, which, of course, he was encouraged to write for the purposes of smearing his brother. Furthermore, it doesn't put into context that William, if he was annoyed and became physically violent with his brother, it was a consequence of the way that his brother and his wife have behaved, which had reduced William's emotional empathy to cause him to behave that way. But of course, this author isn't interested in that. This author wants to create the idea that William is some kind of explosive tyrant that has beat up his wife. This individual continues by writing, he also asked Harry to keep the incident to himself, and then insists he didn't attack Harry. Harry then admits to his therapist that while he has a history of physical fighting with his brother, this fight he had with his brother feels different. William's behaviour loosely aligns with the abuser cycle of tension, violence, apologies. There have been previous rumours and articles that William and Kate have rows where things get thrown and that William has a temper, and that Kate is the calm one. So given this background and reports of them fighting last summer, we can speculate that in September 2023, Kate is pictured with a finger injury that was probably caused by William and not by trampolining. Naturally, that's an immediately obvious speculation to make, isn't it? That I've hurt my finger from trampolining, that's what I'm explaining to you. No, actually, it was William that did it. This finger injury ends up taking months to heal and happened at home in Windsor. This may sound far-fetched. Well done, you've got something right at last. But I think there is usually a pattern with domestic violence injuries that are hidden or dismissed as accidents. On 28th of December, an ambulance with a police escort was seen leaving Sandringham, which presumably left with an injured Kate. Kate had serious injuries after a probable altercation with William. Incidents of domestic violence are higher around the holidays, so this seems possible. So again, complete idle speculation about the fact that it's around Christmas time and therefore people, as a result of getting pissed up on sherry, start knocking their other halves around. And this is apparently applicable to William. 2. The Royal PR is taking a wait-and-see approach, giving just enough information so they can build a more cohesive narrative later. But the timing of their releases makes it obvious that they're in wait-and-see mode. Found this timeline with comments on Twitter, which I used as a starting point for the research, and then I tried to verify this timeline myself. Shout out to the original creator of this. Here's my explanation behind PR publicity so far. 22nd of December, PR originally announced that Kate and Wills are going on a tour to Italy in early 2024. They wouldn't have done this if they knew Kate may need any kind of procedure surgery. Or, what if it was an emergency surgery that she required? For instance, what if she'd had a ruptured appendix, for instance, and therefore that's why she had to go into hospital? Not thought about that, have you? But no, your mind immediately goes to the fact of, well, she didn't have any scheduled procedure or surgery, therefore she must have been beaten up by her husband. 28th of December, Kate gets injured. There are lots of reasons why people go into hospital besides injury, but this author immediately assumes that it's injury. And rushed to hospital. No one, including PR, knows how bad the situation is. Probably strict instructions from William and his team to not let anyone see Kate, hence why there is no pat pictures of visitors. Or rather, unlike this one's wife, who would pap herself on the toilet if necessary, it's simply the case that this is a private matter, and that Kate and William don't do pap pictures. Why on earth would there be pap pictures of them attending at the hospital when it's a private matter, and that, unlike this one's wife, they don't tip off Backgrid to be there? 16th of January. Kate's condition probably worsened. Did it? Well, evidently, this person not only is a clairvoyant and understands what the future will bring, and is also able to be telepathic and understand the motives and actions of other people without them actually being explained, they're a doctor as well. Kate's condition probably worsened and she had emergency surgery. She's put in a medically induced coma. There's no evidence to support that whatsoever. 17th of January, PR scrambles to release a statement about her not cancer-related abdominal surgery and how she'll be in recovery till April. They're trying to build a narrative with the hope that she wakes up from the coma soon, but also build in some wiggle room should Kate not wake up. 18th of January, William visits Kate at hospital. 24th, 25th of January, information gets out that Kate's inner circle were blindsided and didn't know about the surgery. The only reason given as explanation is that William wanted to give her privacy. This isn't even remotely normal for them. Let's not forget this is the family that put Kate in heels and makeup just after giving birth, or how they use their children for every photo opportunity possible. Well, that's simply not true. Yes, Kate had her hair done and have makeup on so that she looked photogenic when she posed for the pictures, but to suggest that they use their children for every photo op possible is errant nonsense. The privacy excuse is just a way to keep Kate's friends and family away. Well, what about the loose cannon uncle that Kate has, who I think is angling to go on Celebrity Big Brother, or is going on Celebrity Big Brother? If there was something untoward about Kate's attendance at hospital, I think he's called Gary, isn't he? Wouldn't Gary Middleton be amongst the first to say, oh yes, there's something shady, we've not been allowed to visit her? But he's been completely quiet about it. Why? Because there's nothing to talk about. 26th of January, Charles visits Kate and probably, yes, probably, because after all, you don't know, advises William to set up care for her in the privacy of their home in Windsor. As of 26th of January, only William and Charles have visited Kate in hospital. How do you know that? Meaning they're the only ones who know how bad the situation is. Who says the situation is bad? 28th of January, Spanish journalist goes on Fiesta and says she knows from a source that Kate has been put in a coma, which of course has been denied by the palace and is errant nonsense being spouted by this Spanish channel. They went on to say that Middleton's life was in great danger following the procedure and that practically an entire hospital was set up in the royals' home for the recovery process. More hyperbole. 29th of January, PR releases statement on Kate's discharge and how she's resting at home in Windsor. 30th of January to 3rd of February, PR denies coma rumours. 4th of February, Kalelia doubles down on her statement. We should assume she has some concrete source evidence to go against one of the most powerful PR machines. Or we could assume that she's just making this shit up, like you are, who's written this. 5th of February, PR decides to change tactics and divert attention away from Kate instead. They start with Charles's diagnosis announcement and then also provide an ambiguous statement that explains away Kate's coma by saying her recovery could take as long as 9 months. Or rather, it's nothing to do with diversionary tactics at all, but there's simply nothing more to say in relation to Kate. It's been explained that she had abdominal surgery and that she's convalescing. Nothing more to talk about. 7th of February, to now, William goes back to his royal duties with his first engagement at Windsor Castle. But he also isn't returning to royal work full-time yet, so he can rush to Kate's side when needed, i.e. when she wakes up again, or perhaps more correctly, that so he can actually help with his children because his wife isn't able to do what she would ordinarily do with the children because she's convalescing, nothing to do with waking up. 13th of February, William attends the BAFTAs. 20th of February, William visits Red Cross. Other FYI, PR also gets busy with all kinds of releases, like Harry visiting Charles, Pippa on holiday, to try to move the narrative away from missing Kate. They also include some red herring articles, like this one about Kate and family goes to Sandringham, Norfolk, for a visit. 3. William missing his godfather's service due to personal matters on the 27th of February is big deal. What could be so important that he doesn't attend this important engagement, one that he knows that if he cancels at the last minute will lead to even more speculation? Kate woke up on the 27th of February from her coma, and he wanted to be back by her side ASAP. Why? So he can make sure she'll corroborate his story of it being an accident, and probably participate in some photo op ASAP so they can sweep the whole incident under the rug. But my question remains whether Kate gets on board or whether it leads to them breaking up. My money's on her staying. Well, there we are from this individual's conspiracy theory on a subreddit which has got more holes in it than Swiss cheese. Utterly ridiculous. But once again, this is the kind of nonsense that is written about the Princess of Wales. And I know from many of you, particularly on X, the sugars have been going into overdrive, speculating that somehow William has beaten Catherine up, put her into a coma, yada, yada, yada. But where's this one's wife in all of this? Utter silence. Indeed, silence about her sister-in-law, silence about the disinformation, no call for calm, no call for people to stop speculating. Indeed, although she hates the fact that people are talking about Kate, she relishes in the idea that there is some kind of dissension between William and Kate, that William has purportedly beaten her up. This is because the two of them are painted black in the world of this one's wife. But once again demonstrating that she's an individual without emotional empathy. She fails to show any public support for the Waleses, as we'd anticipate she would. Moreover, she does nothing in relation to pointing out that there's a lot of speculative nonsense. Of course, she does that when it's about herself, because she's important, she's all that matters. But supposedly somebody who wants to become engaged in preventing the spread of misinformation and disinformation isn't so keen to do it when it relates to her brother and sister-in-law. Instead, she takes the opportunity, whilst Charles is less prominent and similarly the Princess of Wales is less prominent, to continue to promote herself by going to Whistler and being seen there for 3 days. Again, going on another ski trip, even though she doesn't ski, being seen with 2 friends, that she goes out for lunch, that she goes out for dinner, and again has those both publicised, that she pops up on a recorded video message to the dogs charity, and so on and so forth. Rather than keep a low profile during a period where the royal family are experiencing some health difficulties, she goes hell for leather in terms of promoting herself. Once again demonstrating that when it comes to the behaviour of this one's wife and those that propagate the conspiracy theories, they're just as bad as one another with regard to speculative bullshit and being obsessed with themselves. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.